Good evening, everyone. Afternoon, I suppose. It is March 12th, 2023. This right now is just, I believe, a 4-hour chart of the ES. This is including the June contract. TradingView rolled a little bit early, so I'm going to be rolling with this as how I'm viewing the market. This is just a recap of last week to start out. So what we had was this someone sitting on this aggressively all week, the week prior. They eventually got squeezed, and that's when I was saying that 39.75 is going to be the most important area for bulls to hold to continue that momentum, where the shorts are trapped. So Monday we opened up, we continued that squeeze, got into that 83 quarter level, and then we churned here. It's important to note that the Monday rally was done on very poor breadth. The market was actually negative on the day while we're making highs of the session and holding those highs on ES. Tuesday we came in, the monthly POC shifted, JPOW spoke, and the monthly point of control shifting to me was indicative of this distribution being complete, and we should head to monthly VWAP, which at the time was sitting at 4,000, somewhere down there. And that is what we had, an eventual move to 4,000 and eventually closed that gap that was sitting at 85 quarter, 95 quarter, I believe. Eventually kind of closing around down there. And then coming into the next day, what I wanted to see was bulls again hold that 39.75 session on Wednesday, which they did extremely well, and they ended up actually closing it right around the highs of this kind of 1.5 day balance. And the thought was okay, they've held that extreme area, that 39.75 is held. Now I don't want to see them get back into Wednesday's value. I want to see them open at the highs and start pushing. That is what we had. We had an open around the highs, and they started to push towards 40.15-ish. 40.15, I don't want to talk about it at this point. It's been such an important number for a year. 40.15, right around weekly VWAP as well. They were unable to push it, and every push around there got worse and worse breadth, which eventually led to the meltdown. We got into Wednesday's value area, which I was saying is not going to be the best scenario for them. And once we got in there, we were unable to get back out, and instead we just sliced through the 70s, got a little bit of a bid around last month's low at 47s, and then ended up closing around 3,900-ish. Friday came in, and again on the June contract, it did a great job backtesting that 39.75 area, got offers, came down. Eventually we closed this, we put in a low of the day at the number I was looking at last week, which is 38.81, the yearly open, a nice fair price to close or to set a low of the session in. So in my opinion, we're kind of back to more or less neutral on the year. Now the question becomes, can we get below that 38.80 and start tickling these lower numbers? So let's go into that. Here we go. News-wise, well, I don't want to speak more about this bank collapse, whatever its name is, Silicon Valley Bank, SVB. I don't really care what's happening there. Doesn't seem to matter too much in terms of what we're looking at. So Tuesday pre-market CPI, Wednesday pre-market PPI, Thursday pre-market Philly unemployment, Philly manufacturing index, and unemployment claims. Friday 10 o'clock University of Michigan consumer sentiment. So all the news we're getting this week is going to be pre-market, other than that Friday U of M, which is not a huge deal usually. So how am I looking at this? Well, I'll put in 39.17 as our pivot, and if we switch to a higher time frame, that has been my pivot for months. Months and months and months, that's been an important spot. So we accumulated towards the end of last year and the beginning of this year, had our markup, distributed up there. Make that a little bit clearer for you guys. Distribute up there, and now we're getting our waterfall stage. And last week again, I was saying I was curious if we could sell somewhere in this green box, which we did, and now we're into this pivot. So again, let's go back here. My pivot is that kind of same 39.15 or 20-ish area. I included in that Thursday last week's low, the full external trading hour around 25. That is where we made the point of control on Friday. So, I included that into this pivot area. Now, if we're able to get over this kind of 39.90, so last week's point of control, 75, that important spot, if we're able to get over this kind of 39.75 to 90 area, I think we'll be able to take out this high here, that Thursday high, and start cleaning up towards 40.50 and probably get a little bit of selling around here, but eventually get our way up towards 4,100. Perhaps I should also put that in here, above here, clean up towards, honestly, at that point, I'd be thinking 41, 27, 3/4, I believe is the number, that February point of control. Let me just double check. 41, 28.75, 1 point off. Close enough. So that's how I'm looking at the upside. The real key is, okay, we can start getting a little bit momentum when we come inside the week prior's low, but we really are not in the clear until we get over 39.90, and then we can start working our way up towards last week's high. To the downside, this is now the more likely scenario in my opinion. I think we eventually break last week's low at 38.81 and we start coming into 34.5. That's just where 95% of January's volume traded. That's just the low of that area. Below there's a lot of reference points. You've got a weekly pocket 38.30. You've got a weekly pocket 38.30. The Q4 halfback 38.21. The January low at 38.14 half. Just that general area. I would be shocked if we managed to just rip through these lower 3800s. Instead, I would expect some sort of bid and getting to churn within here for a little bit. So that's how I'm looking at this week. I don't think I have anything more to add to this. Just, don't be too aggressive on the short side above this 39.30 area, and don't be aggressive on the short side above 30. Above what is that? 4,000, 39.90, 39.90ish. I think this thing, people have gone excessively short this past week, just like they did the week prior. Heavy selling, covering, unable to make new highs, heavy selling again, covering, heavy selling again. So I'm looking for kind of a little bit of cleanup tomorrow and tonight, maybe even Tuesday, and we'll see what we can get from there. Just playing it from zone to zone, level to level. Hope that makes sense. Hope that helps. Have a great Globex and the rest of your weekend, and trade safe.